Hello, and welcome to Dead Cells. Now, I don't know if you could call this a roguelike or roguelite game, but this is I guess you call it roguelike, but a roguelike Metroidvania type game where it's clearly 2D side scroller, has platforming, combat, and because it's roguelike, every every run is different. Areas are procedure generated in a sense, as in the layout is different and you move about per area. Like that's your progression. So to explain, well, oh, and this little section will be a little bit of spoiler. I guess, sort of. I guess. Um, and this has come from someone who has beaten the game, quote unquote, but hasn't beaten the game. But if you're just looking for a quick impression of this, I think this is a great game. If you're into games like Salt and Sanctuary, Rogue Legacy, Hollow Knight, stuff like that, Axiom Verge, stuff like that, Castlevania, you'll probably like this game. The only thing you may not like is the loot and the fact that you lose your pickups and your progress and stuff. Well, not all your progress, but most of your progress if you die. And then you have to start over, and then the drops you get are different, the layouts different, the areas you go to might be different, the bosses you fight might be different, etc. Just like Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, stuff like that. Games like that, I should say. So it's if you're into that, to me this is one of the most fun games because I love Rogue Legacy, but the combat in Rogue Legacy isn't as good to me as it is in this game. And because you have ranged and uh, melee options, you do get skills, you do get powers, which replace my square and circle. The only reason people would say this is like Dark Souls is because at the beginning, you have the option to start with a shield. Or it's a bow. I have some upgrades which changes my weapons, which changes the spawn weapons, but when you start off, you start with either a sword and a bow, or sword and a shield, um, or bow and sword. And the shield is literally a shield. You block, you can parry, and it has stats. Like the shield has stats. Absorbs 75% damage. Tap to try and parry and block all damage. Now you do get different shields and stuff, and that lets you literally kind of play like Dark Souls. Although you can't shield and sword someone. Like you can't hold up your shield and hit people. It's one or the other. But other than that, and the fact that you have a flask, a health flask, just like Dark Souls, you have your Estus flask. This game is just called a health flask. You have a certain amount of uses with the flask, and once you use your flask, that's it. You don't get any more heals unless you find food throughout the level or whatever, like any other roguelike game. And this will be more of an impression because this is where I'm going to spoil the game a bit. After you beat the game the first time, I guess, the credits roll, but things still keep happening. The game doesn't really end after you roll the credits the first time. It's one of those games where, hey, you beat it, but you didn't actually beat it. It's kind of like Nier Automata, whatever. Uh, so, and I don't know when I'll be able to put a review up for this game because the game seems like a huge game. Just from you can see the two items I have and the shield. There seems like a lot of items in this game because these are all the items I've unlocked so far, all the spheres that are filled with something. And there's clearly a lot of items. Like just quite a lot. And also the game has daily challenges, which is this door here. Um, so there's even a reason to come back and play it daily to get a new challenge if you're that type of person. I don't even know what this door does. I have no clue. So there's still things for me to figure out and learn and unlock and see and everything. Even though I've put, I guess maybe 6 hours now. 6 10 is yeah, maybe a bit more. And You know, it'll take you a lot longer if you're struggling with the game and all that. But it's not a difficult game. I mean, it can be, and it certainly gets difficult later on. It probably is actually difficult now, but uh, it does get easier. And also, when I beat the boss, this is also, I guess, a spoiler. When I beat the first boss and rolled the credits, it let me do this. It let me change the cell. I think because I already went through the door, I can't change it back. Yeah, I don't think I change it back when you go through the door. But that also changes the way things work. That put it up into hard mode. It increased the forge quality. Did some stuff. And these are teleporters, which let you teleport around the map after you've discovered things and all that. And so you have a dodge roll, and you have your enemies. Well, see, I'm still horrible at the game. I still have things to learn. So you have a dodge roll. You can dodge left or right. You can jump and dodge too. There are secrets in areas. There's secret places to go. Actually, I won't ruin any of the secrets, but look around. There are hints and there are things to tell you that, hey, there's a secret here that might get you gold or food or maybe even an item or a stat boost or whatever. And so you also have challenges. If I get to the end, you also have challenges within each area. So for example, if you beat the area within a certain amount of time, you might open a secret door at the end. Well, not really a secret door, but like a challenge door type thing that lets you that gives you a bunch of items for free or something. Oh, you can see there. See, this is new because I'm on hard. You can see an invisible enemy there. And on normal, those enemies aren't in this area. So even after I beat the game and I come back to this area again on hard, it's different. So there's even if you beat the game, there are plenty of reasons to keep playing. And so you have a dodge roll, and it seems like you only have to dodge roll, or I'll just say dodge, um, when you see the exclamation point come up above their head. That means, hey, yeah, it's an attack and you have to dodge it or jump over it or whatever. But you can like walk into an enemy. Let me see if I can find another one. Oh, here's a chest. I think there's always one chest in an area, so always try and uh, find it and get it. So I got a quick bow too instead of my knives. I mean, I could replace, whatever I want. Unless you choose. You can only carry two things at a time. Uh, I mean, I don't want it. So you just sell it. No secrets or anything so far. And you do have this down smash. And you do unlock powers and whatnot, but I haven't got enough cells to really unlock all that stuff. But hopefully I'll get there and I can show you. But and as you can see, all my items. Oh wow, they do a lot of damage on hard. Oh, I died. So as you see, I lost 3 cells and I died. You use the cells to unlock things. Unlock drops you get throughout the level and stuff. Powers, everything, passives. More charges for your healing flask. Stuff like that. I'll go through on easy, cause or just normal, whatever normal is. Just so I can see if I can show you the end. I'll try and rush through to the end. Just to show you the level up process, because I feel like that's also important. As you can see, you don't have to fight everything. You can just rush through the map if you want, or you can go slowly and fight everything. It's really up to you. As you can see, there's a rune in that wall. That means there's a secret there, sort of. Oh, I thought he would. I see in the wall here that little rune. Scratch the wall, and I find a little secret. Gets me some money. There are other secrets, not just like that, but Oh wow, look at that. Uh, oh, there we go. So this is the end. That's all it looks like. So that says toxic sewers. My next run it might not be toxic sewers. It might be another place. I Yeah, like it can change. I don't even know if I've encountered all the biomes. I believe I haven't. So, because I beat that level below 2 minutes, as you can see at the bottom right, I have a little timer there. It says 58 seconds. Pause. I get a bunch of stuff. So it's really up to you. You can rush through the level, or you can just take your time. It is really up to you on what you want to do, how you prefer to go through the game, and that's why, as I'll show you right now. Oh, oops. As I'll show you right now, when you clear an area, this is why not a huge fan of roguelikes, is because if you botch your whole run, I mean, if you fail your run, that's it. That's over. Your whole run is done. You made no progress on that run. Whatever. Maybe you did, but not really. With this one, I like every time you beat an area, you see all your things that you can unlock, and you have your passives that you just push yourselves into, and eventually, you will unlock it. As you can see, I'm not nearly that far into this game at all. There's clearly a ton of things to unlock and get and do and check out and biomes to see and stuff. And like with how much is in this game and this game's still being updated and stuff, I don't know if I'll ever be able to put a review out for this game. But yeah, if you like the roguelike games, you like 2D, and you like the combat, and you like the idea of getting new items, getting new pickups, new powers, new skills, whatever. And even this game, you can reforge the modifiers to be however you want. Right, so now that launches a grenade. This is 60% damage to a bleeding target. Right, so you can change things. You can have builds. You can have items you hate, items you like. Your runs will be different. I like this game. It's a fun game. It seems very replayable. Maybe it does get repetitive with the enemies. Maybe it could use some more enemy variety, but again, I'm not far enough into the game to really know about that. So that could be an issue. And maybe the items, because the items mostly seem to be sword, bow, shield. Uh, Nothing else too crazy, but your skills and your powers seems to be where things start to get more crazy, and I haven't even delved into that really. As you can see, I have a bunch of mutations here that I haven't unlocked, so I haven't been to mess with those. Uh, and the powers, I haven't really gone to mess with these yet, so I want to try those out. You have grenades, different types of bows, the shields, and mutations, skills, which I've unlocked all that I have right now. That's why you can't see a skill. But and yeah, you can reforge all your items. He gives you mutations. I don't know if you get anything extra, but you can get up to 3 mutations. So if you get up to 3 areas, you will get 3 mutations. And every area you refill your health and flask. So even if you can't beat the second area, you can keep going through the first area and still make progress. Overall, to unlocking things and making your character stronger, which I like. That's something I very much appreciate and like. So I think this is a cool game. I think it's worth $20 or 20, $30. I got it for 20. It clearly has a lot of replayability, especially if you're into these types of games. I'm not hugely into these types of games. I'm more of a Hollow Knight, Salt and Sanctuary type person, but this has been a fun game. This is a fun game where, hey, you have an hour to play, do a run, see how far you get. Even if you don't get too far, doesn't matter. You can still save your progress, sort of. You can retry the run if you want, if you thought you could have done it much better, if you had not made certain decisions wrong or something. It's cool. I really like this game. It's a fun game. It's still being updated. I love the art style. The sound is pretty great. Um, the combat feels good. Platforming feels good. It feels responsive. A lot of upgrades. Oops. Yeah, that was just my brain freezing for a second. Uh, Seems like there's a good amount of variety in terms of enemies. I don't know about. I mean, in terms of items and items, I don't know how it is on enemies, but it seems well so far. Every area has its own enemy types, pretty much. And this is what I mean by the stat boost. You find stat boosts throughout, and so you can see my two weapons are purple, but with my bow has a little green triangle, and my sword has a little red triangle. Uh, that means I assume it means the damage, how the damage is scaling. So right now, these two are scaling more with tactics with purple. But if I put green, you'll see my bow will go half and half, which means I think it's scaling equally off both, or it just means my purple and green stats are equaled out. Uh, Whichever one, that's how it works. Certain colored items, I guess, scale with the certain colored stats. So green items scale with green stats, red items scale with red stats, etc. So I like this game. It's a fun game. It's a fun game, and it's a game that could, like, as long as they just keep adding to it, you can never really get tired of it. As long as they just keep adding items and areas and bosses and enemies, like, it's not really a game you can get tired of because the combat is there, and it has this pacing and progression that rewards either a fast player, a slow player, uh, um, a methodical player, a crappy player who's struggling to learn the game. Like, my girlfriend can't play games that well, but she likes this game, and I'm glad she likes the game because it's a game she can still make progress on and play. And even if she beats the first area, that's an accomplishment for her. And then she can get better and eventually beat the second area. That's a bigger accomplishment, and she keeps working forward. Uh, I like that. That's not something that's easily found nowadays in most games that can accommodate everyone's playstyle, especially in a roguelike type game, I think. But I like it. I think it's cool. So as you can see, I got a grenade, which counts as a skill, and skills have a cooldown. They're not like one-time use things, except for the tonic or whatever, the needle that heals you, sort of. I don't know if that's on. Oh no, that gets filled up if you heal yourself with your flask. Yeah. That's I'm low on health, so I'll use one flask. So I have one flask left, and it heals me. I keep forgetting I have a bow. And so yeah, you have range, you have attack. You can be all range, all attack, a hybrid. You can do whatever. I like this game. I really do like this game. It's a fun game to play. I think if you want something that doesn't cost a lot but can still has a lot of replayability, I would say get Dead Cells. You will be happy. If you want something like this but more story driven, more Dark Souls-y, get Hollow Knight. But yeah, I would say. Oh yeah, I picked it up. I would say uh, this is one of the best, at least in my opinion, one of the best roguelike Metroidvania type games you could get. I don't know if I'm even using those words right. I suck at the game. I'm not that far, so I'm not the best person to be talking about this, but it's a cool game. Wow, that was a bad place. It's a cool game. I like it. I've been enjoying it a lot. My girlfriend's been enjoying it. My buddy has been enjoying it. Everyone I've talked to who's played this enjoys it. Even people who aren't really into roguelikes. It's a fun game. I think it's well done. I think the graphics are good. The art style, the sound, how good the controls feel, the pacing. You can be fast or slow. It pretty much supports both. I think it's a good game. It has a lot of replayability. It feels good to play. Like it feels nice to play. Like when you got a handle of it and you know how to play, it feels good, which is a rare thing. It's a pretty rare thing. But yeah. So I was gonna try and get to the end. Oh, here we go, ramparts. So I cleared that level. Let's see. You see my time's at 6 minutes. See if I got the secret door. Well, I did. Didn't get that one though. Yeah, kill 60 enemies without taking damage. So yeah, I see. Fun game, cool game. I like it a lot. Uh, can't you can't really go wrong with this game, to be honest. Uh, oh wow, that's really good too. But yeah, see, so you always get new stuff that changes your build or changes the way you think you should play. So it's fun. And I got some cells. I made some progress on my health flask. I can quit the game, continue on from here, start a new one if I want, etc. So yeah, that's Dead Cells. If honestly, if I could, man, I haven't beat the game fully, but with all the little lore they have, the story, the combat, everything, I'd give this game easily like a 9. To be honest, it's a cool game. It's a fun game. It's replayable. It's everything I could want out of one of these video games. Yeah, that's Dead Cells, man. Thanks for watching and take care.